Welcome back to my walkthrough for Final Fantasy IX, my friends. In the previous section we defeated Soul Cage and we stopped the flow of the mist in the Mist continent. That means that no more black mages will be produced, even though I'm sure they'll find a way to produce more black mages sooner or later. I cut out the part where I traveled from the tree back to Eiko's home because it's a pointless journey, you've already seen it once. But for now we need to help out Eiko before we go and confront Kuja, because Kuja will come and inspect the tree since the mist stopped, and that's a major red flag for Kuja. But Eiko had her ancestor's jewel stolen, and unfortunately she was trusted to guard it, so she feels really bad. You know, grown-ups can cry too, I guess, so I guess she's being just a little bit headstrong and stubborn, but she's pretty down. Yeah, plus we'll get the stone back in just a little bit, so you really don't need to be concerned, because we're about to be introduced to a new character, and this character will join our party. In fact, he's the final party member to join the band who will save the world. There's a few items for us to pick up before we step out. You know, it would make more sense if Dagger turned to Zidane and said, you know, my shoulder is also available if you need to cry. To me that would make sense. Okay, so before we go, let's pick up a couple of items. And have Zidane prepared for battle. You can give him the Man-Eater ability. Zidane will be the only character who will participate in this next battle. It's a one-on-one duel. And as you step inside, choose the option to pick inside first, because if you do that, the Mughals will give you two items, an Elixir and an Exploda, if memory serves me right. Let's take a look. To be honest, I think Eiko would be able to take care of Lani on her own. I mean, all that she needed to do was summon one of those big monsters. Because as we know, the Eidolons, all of the Eidolons have incredible destructive power. I mean, they can destroy cities. So I'm pretty sure Eiko could take care of Lani on her own. But anyway, let's give Zidane the Man-Eater ability, and you can also give him the counter ability that will speed up the fight a little bit. And we're going to step inside, and like I said, this will be a fight where only Zidane will fight, so but it's not a hard fight at all. Well, time to go save Eiko. You know, Vivi could just cast fire right in front of Lani's face and that would probably make her go off Eiko. I'm sure Vivi could cast a spell fast enough to hit her. Honestly, like I said, I think Vivi would be a more dangerous person to deliver the pendant because, like I said, Vivi could just cast fire on Lani's face. Or Vivi could even cast slow on Lani, that would make Lani move slower. And they could probably get Eiko free in the meantime. Here comes the man. Eiko's quite blunt, isn't she? I quite like Red's team, or Amarant. Okay, so here we go. The fight against Red. And you'll be joining our party afterwards. But this fight, it's pretty simple. You might have to use a few high potions here and there, but he's not very strong. And with the counter-attack ability equipped, we'll make this fight much more quick. And with the Man-Eater ability as well, we can deal more damage. There's no point in stealing from him. He has an Ether and a pair of Poison Knuckles, which you don't need. So I wouldn't bother stealing, it would just drag out this fight. So just keep striking him. That's just how simple this fight is. You just have to keep striking him and eventually the fight will end. Counter-attack time, there we go. That's why the counter-attack ability is so useful. And I might have to use a high potion here. Yep, I will. He just keeps jumping around from one place to the other and then after a while he attacks. But honestly, it doesn't really make a big difference. Still standing, eh? Well, so I have to use another eye potion, and it would be nice to finish him with a trance ability for a change, but pretty sure the next strike will do him in. He's taken a bunch of damage already. Farewell. There we go. Perfect timing. Well, at least he's a man of his word. That's probably a good analogy, I'm sure you understood that one. And yes, Red will be joining our party. He's a monk, essentially. And he has some unique abilities. He can also throw items, but I like to use him. I like to use all of the characters, to be honest. A lot of people like to stick to the initial party of Zidane, Dagger, Vivian, Steiner, but I like to switch things up, and all of the characters have their strengths, so they're all useful. We're just going to take a little rest here to recover our health, and as such I like to alternate between all of them, and I like that every character in this game has some backstory. I guess you could say that in the case of Amarant, for example, maybe his story isn't as developed as other characters, but he still has a story and there's a reason why he wants to battle Zidane, and I quite like that. Like I said, one thing that I think that Final Fantasy IX really did well was make sure that every character of the main roster, of course, had a backstory. You don't see that in other Final Fantasy games. Sometimes the supporting characters are just there to be party members and they don't really have a huge backstory. But in Final Fantasy IX it's like there's multiple chapters, and in every single chapter it's that every single chapter is dedicated to one specific character, so everyone gets their moment to shine. And that doesn't happen in, say, for example, Final Fantasy VIII or even Final Fantasy VII to a less extent. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about Final Fantasy IX. To be fair, Mog is only 6 years old as well. A friendship ribbon, that's nice. Poor Eiko, she totally got ignored. Oh well. We're going to step outside and it's time for yet another huge revelation, even though it won't come as a surprise to anyone at this point. I like how Dagger always shuts down Zidane's ideas. I suppose at this point they start getting even more close. But to be fair, I think that the love story in this game between Dagger and Zidane has a much better flow than, say, the love story of Final Fantasy VIII, for example. But a lot of you know how I feel about Rinoa, so that should come as no surprise. That's right, everyone was following their own will. It's not like they just fought just to protect Dagger. That wasn't just the reason why they did that. They followed their own beliefs, and it's always a good thing to follow your beliefs. I mean, not always, but sometimes. Ignore that live advice. We're actually going to visit Ibsen's castle a little bit later on in the game. It's one of my favorite areas, actually. So that should come as no surprise. At this point, I'm sure most of us had figured out that Dagger did come from the Summoner's village. And the Summoner village was destroyed. And we'll be encountering that huge eye in the sky soon again. To be fair, I guess if you're like 6, you don't remember most of the things you did when you were 6 years old, right? I guess you can have some flashes of what your life used to be, but you won't remember everything in detail. Still, who was singing the song when they heard the song? Before I thought it might have been Eiko because, well, it would make sense, but I guess the song just started automatically. Maybe Eiko has a stereo and she has that song recorded and she just played it. You know, I have yet to find a Final Fantasy character. At least a main character who has happy parents, still alive and living well. Is there a single or any Final Fantasy main character, now we're talking about the main characters here, that actually have both the father and the mother still? I don't think so. At least I don't remember. Well, if I were you, I'd imprison your mother, but since it's not my mom, I guess I can say these things. Or your stepmom, actually. Feel bad for all the other Mughals because they don't get to tag along, even though they helped Eiko a lot. And honestly, Eiko doesn't even come back to her home because later on she goes live somewhere else. So I really feel bad for the Mughals. Guess Morrison is the leader of the group. Well, the Mughals can also keep each other company. There's the man again. I always thought that his hair was actually a helmet that he had on. but it's actually his hair. Come on, man. Relax for a second here. You need to take a break. But anyway, yes, his name is Amarant. We're going to keep it. And Amarant is a monk. Like I said before, he can throw items, he has some unique abilities, and his stats are, in terms of attack power and so on, they're kind of similar to Zidane, so he's a good character to have. I'm going to put him in the party for a while because we haven't had the chance to use him. Obviously this means that you'll have to leave someone behind because you can only have 4 characters in your party at the same time. So I think I'll leave Eiko behind just for a little bit. I'm going to keep Dagger because she's at a lower level, so maybe she'll level up a little bit. So this is going to be it for this segment, my friends. We're just going to change Amarant's equipment. He has a lot of abilities to learn. Return Magic is actually a pretty cool ability. After an enemy casts a spell on you, you'll return that spell. It's actually a very nice ability to have, and we're going to give him level up as well, because I want him to learn that as quickly as possible. So even if he's not super powerful quite yet, he'll become more powerful as the time goes, and as we give him new weapons, it's all going to be just fine. And this is going to be it for this segment, my friends. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later for the next part. Next part's going to be awesome, by the way. There's going to be a huge fight. So I'll see you all then. Take care.